Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from Astrolada.com. And the title of the video sounds quite scary, but Trifon told me that's what should the title be. And he's here to reveal to us the ominous warnings of the stars according to ancient astrology using sidereal and ancient astrology. Hello, Trifon. I'm prepared mentally.
Hello, everybody.
What do you have in store for us now?
Yeah, we were wondering what the title should be for this video, and I proposed some of the words of the ancient astrologers, which Lada rejected as too heavy. So have in mind that this is the light version.
This is the light version, the title. Yeah, he was telling me pestilence, losses. I'm like, ah. So yes, come on. I don't want to laugh, but obviously I see it with Western astrology as well. So many reversals happening, upheavals, like you said. What do you have for us from the ancients?
Yes, this month is quite eventful from astrology point of view, definitely. And that's why the ominous title of the video. Because this month we have the stations of Mars and Saturn happening, which will color the events for the months ahead, including, but marks this month as especially more Saturnian and Martian type of month, of course. And this is natural, we already know this. But the title and the information that is coming from the ancients is, of course, in harmony with what is usual for those planets, right? So don't be surprised about what I will be, just like transferring the message to you from the ancients, because this will be not my words.
Good. Just wash your hands, just like Pilates.
Okay. So as you can see, I'm slowly preparing you.
So when planets station, they're extremely powerful. Yes, they're in a phase. So now we're gonna have Mars and Saturn station. That's why it's gonna be.
Yes. This is so the stationary planets there look like not moving before they change their direction of moving. So when they stay in such position, it's considered in astrology that they are radiating like 5 times stronger influence.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 5 times more malefic Saturn and Mars this month.
Yes, I've always known when planets are changing direction, that's when the biggest events happen. For better or worse, maybe for worse, Saturn and Mars.
So let's begin. Let's begin with the information that you need to know. So Saturn is about to turn his direction on the 23rd of October. Let's begin with this. So 7 days before, the processes related to Saturn will be intensified. In other words, 16th of October is when his stationary phase actually begins. So, and after that, 14 months till the end of the month are having a lot of influence of Saturn all the time. So this is one thing. However, the ancients are also warning about something else. And for those who are interested in the financial astrology and the markets, this may be important because the extant texts from the ancients about exactly this station of Saturn in the place where he will make the station, which is in the last 10 degrees of Capricorn. Let's say the 23rd degree Capricorn. This is in sidereal, remember this, but you can check by just going outside with some application, looking at the sky, and you will see how Saturn is actually among the stars of Capricorn. So this is sidereal astrology. And so, what the ancients are saying? They're saying that this station of Saturn means upheavals and loss of possessions. These are their words.
So you think the financial markets will be hit really badly?
Of course. What else the loss of possessions can mean, right? So when the ancients are saying there will be a loss of possessions, so it's either like two ways, right? But all of them involve some kind of financial crisis. So this must be a financial crisis then, what the ancients are pointing out. Okay, so according to the ancients, there is a high probability of financial crisis in the second half of the month, especially after 16th of October and around 23rd of October. So all people, just in case, have this in mind. About the meaning of upheavals, it will be natural when there are like financial difficulties to have also other problems. So, but there is something that I would like to add about the station of Saturn. It's not so bad news for everybody. Especially for people who are ruled by Saturn, actually, better time comes. So those who have their ascendants in Aquarius and in Capricorn in the Sidereal Astrology, which is also Aquarius and Pisces in the tropical Western type of astrology. So those people, they will see how after this last 2 weeks of October, they will become like more effective in their life and will have even more success for many things. So I'm talking here especially about the sidereal Capricorn and the tropical Western Aquarius. So because Saturn becomes direct, he moves from retrograde, which means he was also blocking a lot of things related to Saturn. This is, I guess, every business related to construction, every business related to agriculture, and in general, things related to the markets of property may start to develop somehow better for the people. Remember that this is for the people and not necessarily for homeowners or corporations who are benefiting from such businesses. Saturn is always tending to bring order in things. So whatever is necessary for him to do so that there is more order about those things necessarily, like agriculture and property business and property matters, Saturn will do. So this is the good side. And of course, it can be well related to the, loss of possessions message, so on. So this is about Saturn. Now let's talk about the station of Mars, which is again in the end of the month. Namely, Mars will turn his direction from being the direct planet, he will become a retrograde planet. So, and the influence of this motion will be felt after 23rd of October, when he slows down. In this way, we can expect some bad things according to the ancients. What they say is the following. Nothing else, but they say that there will be an outbreak of a pestilent diseases. All right. We will look out. Maybe something will happen in Africa, like Ebola. Let's hope nothing new with COVID. But in any case, people be more careful towards the end of the month. So Mars is making this station in the first degree of Gemini, of the sidereal Gemini. In the sky, it will be looking as he's hanging right between the Taurus and Gemini stars. If you try to look at. However, I will add also some additional information that is the ancient books are not mentioning, but it is supposed that you know this, right? If you know some of the anatomy of the sky. So what happens? Mars, earlier in the month, between 7th and 10th of October, so this is very soon, he will make a conjunction with one star from the constellation called in English the Chariot. In Latin is Auriga. And so the star is called Capella. This star is much related to financial matters. In ancient mythology, this is the god that brought up, that fed the young Zeus in the ancient mythology. So she's much related to resources and also to wealth. In a way, she's a financial star. So Mars already with her very soon can indicate some things, just mentioning. And then later when Mars go to the station, in the place where he will be, there is another star related to finances. I will intentionally not say which is this one. And so in this way, in like 20-25 days time, Mars will be with two financial stars and will make station upon one of them. Well, having also heard the message about Saturn, I think this is all giving signs for potential financial crisis. And apart from this, Mars can indicate also, as we already know, outbreak of diseases. So diseases, what comes to mind? I heard that in New York they have some problems with poliomyelitis, polio, and the first degree of Gemini looks related, but it can be also something else, of course. All right, have this in mind. Gemini is a sign of human shape. So the ancients are saying whatever happens there in the signs of human shape will greatly afflict humanity, not the animal world or some other part of nature, but humanity, people. So this station of Mars shows, in general, great problems coming for people in general. Of course, Mars is also the planet of war. In the place where he will be making the station, he will make an alignment also with another star in a special way. This other star is the main star of the snake. It's a constellation called Serpens. The alignment is not a one that is like well known to astrologers and astrology fans, but ancient texts are saying that these degrees in Gemini are aligned with this place, and it is true. So the main star of the snake aligned with Mars. Well, apart from probably greater probability of danger of venomous creatures and so on, I think for the world and for people, it means much greater danger of deception. And about the war that is going on, poisonous attacks, maybe from weapons that are not allowed anymore on the battlefield, like gas or something else. So beware. Also, Mars turning direction may show there will be some change in the direction of the events in the war from the direction that they are happening to the opposite one, right? From one side winning to another side, for instance, also, this can happen. For people, on more like particular level for persons, those who are ruled by Mars, so these are Scorpio, rising, and also Aries rising. So those people, this is of course in Sidereal. in Western astrology, Scorpio, sidereal Scorpio, is actually Sagittarius, and sidereal Aries is actually Taurus in Western astrology. So, people who have those rising signs, because Mars turns retrograde, they will suffer problems. Things that they wish to achieve, there will be a lot of obstacles and setbacks, especially for Scorpio rising. And I can notice here one of like famous individual. This is the USA President Joe Biden, who has this rising sign and the sun sign, Scorpio. So people who have relation to Mars in this way, they experience problems, including potentially problems at work and health and from their enemies. Right. The station of Mars, the retrogradation of Mars will be 2 months until the first half of January. Remember, this is the duration of those issues. Well, for Aries, sidereal and Taurus tropical, again, is equally not positive. It can bring even danger of accidents or fatal events around them, I mean. So, watch out.
Well, what about the
Mars is on the rise.
what about the people who have their rising or sun or moon in the degrees Mars is turning retrograde? Like that would be tropical, later degrees.
So when those
degrees.
who have the sun in the signs of Mars, they will experience problems with their superiors and work, and in general, they will feel that they are not well recognized for their actions. Those who have the moon, well, they can have emotional crises and problems with older women in their families. These are only some of the effects.
But what about someone who has their sun, moon, or ascendant in the degrees where Mars is turning retrograde? So in
well,
Gemini,
those who have those who are having a conjunction by Mars in this moment, they are actually in big danger. They should be careful for accidents and all kinds of problems. All kinds of problems, accidents, violence, danger of surgery. Big conflicts is only the least thing that can happen. So watch out, those who have this, of course. Mars is especially powerful. Yes. And I mentioned, of course, the snake. I mentioned the star of wealth, so there can be financial issues, there can be danger of betrayal. Also. So this is about Saturn and Mars. I mentioned also last month that about the coming station of Mercury, which is happening right now as we speak. Mercury is positioned in the last degree of Leo right now and turning direction. And he becomes direct tide, which is good news. So as you can see, I saved some good news for the second part of our talk today. So the ancients are saying that there will be some anomalies with the king. I think they already happened. If you are watching the news, the English premier seems to forbid the king to go to a certain official meeting about ecology in Egypt. So, because obviously the premier minister would like to give some bad news about this, and the king is interested in ecology, so he is not welcome there when there will be bad decisions. So, the anomaly is the king was obstructed. So also, if you remember last month, I told you that there is certain meanings of the stations of Mercury for the last month, that the ancients were saying that there will be civil unrest. This is part of the title of the last month video, if you remember. Well, civil unrest is already everywhere, in England, in Netherlands, but most of all, it's noted on the news in Iran. Iran is definitely on the rise about civil unrest, and it is especially notable because it's actually tyrannical regime. So the people to go out on the streets, it's really a huge thing. They already had a lot of casualties, like around 70, 80 people killed. So just reminding you what was said and what happened. And all this is coming from the ancients. All these meanings, they're coming from the ancient books. Because they, of course, the ancients, they observed centuries and centuries, millenniums, what those stations mean. So that's why, even though in modern times, when we say that there can be financial crisis and the other things that I mentioned, this is the opinion of the ancient masters, and most of the time, what they say is happening. Remember this? So whoever is interested in the financial markets, maybe it's time to be more careful. Well, there are also many other things happening month, but these are definitely the most important one. So in general, the month having the stations of Saturn and Mars is not a place where you expect extremely good things, especially in the second half of the month. But there are various days in the month when three planets, Mercury, Venus, and the Sun, will make favorable conjunctions. Those conjunctions will be with favorable and spiritual star. And this star is Spica. So, in case you think that there is no support, actually there is. The star Spica, if you don't know what is this is the main star of the constellation Virgo. And according to the ancients, it is having the nature of Mercury and Venus. In other words, it is a star of spirituality and love. So the ancient manuscripts are saying that it is on the 29th degree of the heavenly woman, in other words, Virgo. And they are even indicating that it is, this star represents the heavenly child. Well, so it's extremely strong spiritual energy. So the heavenly child of the divine mother, of course, right? So in ancient Egypt, they called it Osiris. Horus, actually, sorry, Horus. So, but for instance, in Christianity, of course, this will correspond to Jesus Christ himself. So this star will be activated by the sun at a certain moment. This is 17th of October. Around this time each year, the sun is with this star, and it offers help from the higher forces and with love, and of course is favorable for every spiritual practice. The sun will be there, 17th of October. Apart from this, two other planets, Venus first, will also make this conjunction, which is especially even more favorable. This will be 18th of October. Because Venus corresponds to the nature of the star, which is partly Venus. You remember, Mercury and Venus is the nature of the star. When Venus is with it, it indicates especially more love, especially also universal, divine, and spiritual, and in every sense. So Venus will be there with this star, 18th of October. Good for everything related to people that need help, compassion, and love. Then, this month, what we can count on, most of all, is the position of Mercury, Because if any planet is really strong, except Saturn, which is really powerful in Capricorn and stationary, and he has also to offer good things because he becomes direct. But most of all, Mercury will give good vibes. Why? Most of the month he is in Virgo. He enters again the sign after 2 days. And when he is there, it is good for all people, for all humanity, especially for the common people, because it's Virgo, which this is the sign of service and work. So it relates to people who are in more ordinary positions, the working class. But of course, Mercury is also related to the intellectual class. And also for people who are related, I guess, to trade. However, for them, you already know, maybe more challenging. So Mercury will be helping a lot. And he will be also with the spiritual star. And he also exalted 16th of October is the exact degree of his exaltation. He's very strong that time. And there will be a moment when he will be with the spiritual star too. So this is 26th of October. Amidst the cycles of Saturn and Mars, there is one day that Mercury makes a little bit more lucky, more favorable in a way. And when Mercury is with this star, it of course accentuates more on the human and rational meaning. Mercury is ruling the signs with human shape, Gemini and Virgo, both have human shape, and his movements are good for humanity. So I guess whatever happens this month, due to the influence of Mercury, will be also good for the entirety of people. A lot of them will have some more favorable developments, especially, I guess, about their own personal events related to work and health, as this is the sign of work and health where Mercury is posited. So I guess there will be, especially for those ruled by Mercury. So which are those? Gemini and Virgo rising. This is in Sidereal. And Cancer and Libra in the Western type of astrology. Those people will see how their work and their development is going forward in a successful way. Well, I guess this may be quite enough information for all of you to digest. Just have in mind that all this is about to happen, but it's not necessarily to afflict you directly, right?
So it's more like the world. Yeah.
It's not about the world. If you are ruled by Saturn or Mars, it will be personal about the things that I mentioned. Saturn will bring for Saturnian signs some more financial and practical success, and Mars will bring troubles for the people ruled by Mars. And good time for all those that are ruled by Mercury. So there is a compensation.
So amidst the pestilence, losses, diseases, there'll be a bit of good. Well, Mercury kind of tends to protect the normal people.
So in order for you to be able to choose for the different topics, we decided to make a promotion for the 60-minute reading that I have on the website. So there are different topics that can be discussed for 60 minutes, so it's really valuable.
Yes, by the way, that reading usually Trifon offers it for $190, and now it's just $150 till the 19th of October if you'd like a personal reading with Trifon. So thank you so much for this important message. I guess we're all feeling it already. People are feeling things are changing in October, even without knowing astrology. Intuitively or just by watching the news, you see where things are heading. So
Yes,
Thank
absolutely,
you.
absolutely. Everyone is in some kind of awaiting the big things.
Yeah, thank you so much, Trifon. And maybe I hope that you can maybe write a book about all the degrees and stations of planets in it and what gather from all the ancient sources. Maybe that can be, or make a class for that, or with examples. That might be
Okay, I will
fascinating.
think about it. I will think about it,
Yeah,
and
gather.
potentially it can happen.
Yeah, because you always come up with this incredible what happens if this planet goes direct or retrograde here, and you find them in those obscure old books. Maybe you can make a compilation of all the degrees and stations that you find out about for more serious astrologers.
We'll see. I have many ideas, so you will be witness to all them.
Thank you so much. And if anyone wants to contact Trifun, I'm putting a link below now, guys. You can write to him. He usually answers back within a couple of days, and you can schedule a reading. Thank you, and may you be protected and blessed in October. Do wise health and financial choices. And yeah, stay in the good books.
Thank you and take care, everybody. This month is interesting.